It's exactly 3 a.m. The world is asleep. Silence fills the night. And suddenly, your eyes open. No alarm, no sound outside. Just something within whispering, "Get up." Now ask yourself, was this only broken sleep? Or could it be a hidden sign from God? Ibn Arabi said, Allah wakes his servant at certain hours because in that moment, the soul is pure and clear. And those hours are between 3 and 5 a.m. You may call it coincidence, but what looks like chance might actually be a divine invitation, because the greatest secrets are whispered when the world is silent. Why not midnight? Why not noon? Why specifically then? Because in those hours the veils around the heart thin, the distance between you and God shortens, and you are given a choice: respond to the call or roll over and let the door close. Notice how your heart feels different when you wake at that time. Sometimes there's a peace you cannot explain, sometimes an unease you cannot name. Ibn Arabi said, "This is never without reason. For God is closest to his servant in the last third of the night." Think of your days. Work, phones, voices, noise. The heart becomes tired, dull, heavy. But in the stillness before dawn, the heart begins to hear again. And if you wake, it is not for nothing. Every awakening is a call, a warning, a gift, a secret revealed. Imagine this. Your prayers feel unanswered, your heart restless. Then one night at 4 a.m. your eyes open. That is not just your body's clock. That is the reply beginning. Because sometimes God does not answer through words, but through time. That hour is when the soul is most awake. Saints receive their deepest secrets in those moments. Ibn Arabi called it the breath of the soul. It is the time when prayers rise fastest, when the soul escapes the weight of the body, and the heavens open their gates. That is why those who rise at dawn carry a hidden light in their heart the next day. The difference is simple. One person wakes, sighs, and falls back asleep. Another whispers Allah in the dark. Both woke up, but for one it was ordinary. For the other it was destiny, because the dawn refines the soul. It cleanses the heart. It whispers decisions that shape your life. Ibn Arabi taught, the inspirations born at dawn come from the tongue of the soul, and the soul does not lie. So the next time your eyes open between 3 and 5 a.m., do not dismiss it. This may be the most important invitation of your life. Now I leave you with a question. Have you ever woken between 3 and 5 a.m. and felt something stirring in your heart that you couldn't explain? Was it only restlessness, or was it a call? Tell me in the comments below. And if these words touched you, don't forget to subscribe, because in the next part, we'll open the first of Ibn Arabi's 7 wisdoms. Secrets that may change how you see your entire life. Ibn Arabi said, "This is never without reason, for God is closest to his servant in the last third of the night, the time of dawn's approach." Think of your days, work, school, phones, friends, thousands of voices, endless noise. The heart grows dull, confused, and tired. But when the city is quiet and the night is still, the heart begins to hear again. And if God wakes you, then it is not for nothing. Ibn Arabi taught, every awakening is a call. It may be a warning, a secret revealed, or a light placed in your heart. So, when you wake between 3 and 5 a.m., it is not just your body's clock. It is a hidden touch from your Lord. Let me give you an example. Imagine you've been troubled for a long time, praying, but feeling no answer. Then one night, right at 4 a.m., your eyes open. That moment is actually when the reply begins. Because sometimes God doesn't speak through words, but through time. Those hours are like a private invitation. Why especially then? Because those are the hours when the soul is most clear. Ibn Arabi taught that during the day the soul is covered by veils. At night those veils grow thin and the heart sees truth more clearly. That is why many great saints receive their deepest secrets in the dawn hours. Think about it. Maybe you too have been woken at the same time for years but brushed it aside. Yet every time a door was opened for you, you either stepped through or you rolled over and let it close. Realizing this can change your life, because in the next part we will open the first of the 7 wisdoms Ibn Arabi described, and that first wisdom may hold the answer to the hidden problem in your life. According to him, one of the greatest secrets of waking between 3 and 5 a.m. is the cleansing of the heart. Through the day you see, hear, and experience so many things. You get hurt. You grow angry. You lose yourself in meaningless matters. And all of these leave behind residue in your heart. During sleep, those residues sink and settle. But when God wakes you at that time, He is really saying, clean your heart. Think back to a conflict in the day. Maybe you got angry with your boss. Maybe someone you love hurt you. It feels like it passed, but deep inside a knot remained. At dawn, that knot wants to open. If you rise, pray, and turn to God, even with just a few words, that knot loosens. If you go back to sleep, the weight stays, piling up in your heart. Ibn Arabi's point was this: when God wakes you at that time, He is offering your heart the chance to be washed. When God wants to cleanse His servant, He wakes him at that hour. That is why being awake before dawn is not a punishment. It is a gift. A door opens for you to be freed from the burdens of your heart. Let me give another example. Many people spend their days praying, yet they feel restless inside. They ask, why is my heart tight? Why can't I find peace? But the answer is often hidden in the night. At those hours, God wakes them, but they dismiss it as coincidence. And here lies the difference. Whoever treats that moment as a sign finds their heart filling with peace. Ibn Arabi said, the dawn is the mirror of the heart. By day the mirror is covered with dust. But when you remember your Lord in the night, the mirror shines again. And when the heart shines, a person's entire life changes. Patience grows, compassion deepens, and understanding flows, because the inner weight has been lifted. Think about it. How many times have you woken near dawn and complained, why can't I sleep? But that was never just restlessness. It was your moment of cleansing. Perhaps your eyes would fill with tears. Perhaps you would whisper only Allah, and yet your heart would grow lighter. And here is the important part. This is only the first wisdom. Ibn Arabi hinted that deeper secrets exist. Secrets not revealed to every ear, but he opened them step by step. He said, the dawn is the hour when the soul slips free from the cage of the body and rises toward the heavens. All day long the weight of the body rules. You eat, work, speak, and get pulled by the world. And in all that movement, the voice of the soul is buried. But when the world goes silent, when the night deepens, that is when the soul shows itself. Picture it. You wake in a dark room. Everyone else is asleep. The air is still. It's 3 on or 4 knock a.m. You ask yourself, why am I awake? Ibn Arabi's answer, it is not an ordinary awakening. It is an invitation. At those hours, the gates of heaven open and prayers rise faster. Look into the lives of the saints, and you will see the same pattern. They would rise at that time. Wash, pray a few cycles, and then pour their hearts out in supplication. At dawn, the heart is clear. The mind has not yet been clouded. In that clarity, every prayer fills the soul, and by morning a different kind of energy awakens with you. In Ibn Arabi's words, the dawn is the breath of the soul. If you are awake at that time, it means God is giving you the chance to nourish your spirit. What tightens the heart during the chaos of the day finds freedom in the stillness of night. Those who experience it know it deeply. While others greet the sunrise as just another day, the one who rose at dawn carries a hidden light in the heart. They face people with softness and hardships with greater strength. Think of this simple example. Two people wake up at 4 a.m. One drinks some water and falls back asleep. The other whispers a prayer for a few minutes. Both awoke. Both opened their eyes. But for one it was ordinary, and for the other a spiritual door opened. This is where the difference lies. Ibn Arabi said that the door of dawn opens before everyone, but some notice it and some do not. For those who notice, the awakening becomes an ascent. For those who don't, it remains just a broken sleep. The dawn renews the soul so deeply that its fragrance is carried through the whole day. Some learn patience at that hour, others wisdom, and others taste a deeper love of God. That is why the dawn is one of the most precious stations in the soul's journey. Ibn Arabi taught that nothing that happens should ever be called coincidence. Behind every event there is divine wisdom. And so waking at night is not only a spiritual invitation, it also carries hints of your destiny. Imagine this. You wake between 3 and 5 a.m. and suddenly a thought comes. Perhaps an idea, perhaps clarity about a decision that's been troubling you. This is not an ordinary thought. Ibn Arabi would say it is a fragment of your fate being unveiled, because at that hour the mind is clear and the heart is silent. What comes then is like a sign from God. Picture a man torn between staying in his job or leaving. By day his thoughts pulled him in every direction. But at 4 a.m. he wakes, and into his heart falls a quiet whisper. Now is the time. That whisper may be nothing less than a sign of destiny. Ibn Arabi said, "The decisions born at dawn come from the tongue of the soul, and the soul does not lie, for it speaks when it is nearest to God." That is why the inspirations of the night can shape the entire course of a life. Some notice the sign and follow it. Others dismiss it as just a passing thought, but later they realize that what came that night was actually a call from fate. The same truth applies to prayer. One who wakes in the night and prays may find by morning an unexpected door has opened. A problem lifts. A solution arrives. This too is one of the signs of destiny. For Ibn Arabi taught that prayer is the hidden partner of fate. God writes the path, but the servant's prayer joins with it and a new way unfolds. So remember this, the hours before dawn are not merely broken sleep. They are the moment when the ledger of fate lies open before you. Whoever learns to read it walks with clarity. Whoever ignores it stumbles along the same path. One of Ibn Arabi's most striking words is this: when God wakes his servant at dawn, it is because he wishes to speak to him. Think about that. If you find yourself awake in those hours, Perhaps one of the most important signs of your life is being handed to you. Sometimes the sign is a quiet peace filling the chest. Sometimes it is a decision becoming clear. Sometimes it is nothing more than tears that lighten the heart. But whatever form it takes, it is a door through which destiny opens. Ibn Arabi said, "The one who wakes before dawn becomes a guest of God's secrets." So, if your eyes open between 3 and 5, it is not just the body's rhythm. It is a spiritual invitation. We all face hardships, turning points, crossroads. Yet what settles into the heart at that hour is truer than anything heard in the noise of the day. For by day the mind makes too much noise, but by night it is the soul that speaks. According to Ibn Arabi, the voice of the soul in those hours is the moment when God is closest to you. And now here is the secret I promised to share. He taught that whoever wakes at dawn and listens with the heart begins to glimpse the hidden lines of their own destiny. It is not only a time for worship. It is the hour when signs that shape the future are revealed. If you silence the noise of the mind and open your heart, many of the knots in your life begin to loosen there. Never underestimate this. A single decision, a prayer whispered in the dark, a tear falling at dawn. These can alter the path of your fate. Ibn Arabi said, "When God entrusts his servant with a secret, the whole world changes." And dawn is the moment when that secret door quietly opens. That is why waking in the night is never a punishment but a gift. People often complain, "Why can't I sleep?" Not realizing that it may be their Lord calling them to a private invitation. So pause for a moment and reflect. What if that sign was already given to you? What if your sleepless nights were never random, but a quiet summons? If you can recognize it, your life may take an entirely new direction. For in those hours, prayers rise higher, choices carry deeper weight, and even tears unlock unseen gates. In the end, one truth shines clear. Whatever wakes you at that time is a divine invitation. And whoever answers it discovers not only peace, but a new path unfolding before them. Have you ever woken between 3 and 5 a.m. and felt something you couldn't explain? Share your experience in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe for more hidden wisdoms.